Let's start with the gold prices, which continue to gain for a fourth straight day today on the back of softening dollar and increased tensions in Ukraine and Russia. The bullion is currently holding on your screens at 1294. It's a 1% of a jump coming in for the gold prices. Well, you have seen strength in equities, and a possible rate hike from Fed in early 2015 is something that would continue to put pressure on the gold prices. Let's also get in a check going on then, and Prithviraj Kothari from Riddhi Siddhi Bullion now joins us on our Mumbai phone line. Mr. Kothari, hi, welcome to the show. What's your sense now coming in for the gold prices? The last couple of sessions have been quite bullish. Do you see further strength continuing here?
Still the tension is there, ahead of a tension, and also the rupee simultaneously depreciation, almost from 60.37 to now 60. And about 60, 67. I think if the tension are moving higher, then gold should be the cross 1300 level easily. And when there is a news flash that the $20 premium should every day is a $20 premium.
Mr. Kothari, what's your sense in the Indian prices? We are back above 28,000 rupees today. The futures is showing 3.5 or rather 350 rupees of a gain right now. Is it a good time to buy for a longer term, or should we rather wait for dips?
I think it's just the tension when the news are coming. Then if you see I think it's just a temporary setback, and again the price should be on the downside. It's a long term. It's a temporary should be on the bullish, but I think in the long term should be the bearish.
So what's your sense, Mr. Kothari, in the Indian prices? What kind of support?
I think should be sell on the higher side, maybe 28,400, 300, 400. You can sell it. And wait for till the tension should be over, then almost $20, $30 should be the drop down in a single day.
And in the Indian markets, what kind of support levels or buying levels would you suggest for gold and silver?
I think buying should be around 27,800 or 27,850.
And for silver prices?
And I think silver is the more bullish because you see that the now US economy going gold. So I think it's basically silver is the industrial use. So silver I think is the more bullish than the gold. So I think I prefer than buying either silver instead of a gold.
So what levels would you recommend for buying silver?
Maybe in the international market 1940, 38 to 40, 1930, 40, or maybe in the rupee terms should be around 42,000.
All right, Mr. Kothari, I appreciate you joining us and giving us that sense. So good gains coming in for the gold and silver prices on your screens. Nearly 700 rupees of a jump up coming in for the silver prices. Today has been an exceptionally bullish day for this sector after the recent declines that we have seen coming in for this one. Let's also get on board then Shrikant Jha. He's MD, PJ Commodity Ventures, and he joins us live as well. Shrikant, hi, what's your sense now on the precious metal space with the kind of jump up that we have seen in the intraday market? Are you buying at these levels? Are you selling this rally? How are you trading?
I think the last time we spoke, I was saying that I put very little money on gold, and you were asking me how much. If you look at it now, I think at that point of time, it was moving up a bit, and I said, yes, you can buy a little bit. Today, I think you can actually sell at higher levels. The markets are very choppy, and I wouldn't really recommend any kind of a buy or a sell. But if you have to trade it, then I think higher levels to sell would be a good idea. Maybe 28,200 with your stops above 28,500 or so is what I would look at. And I don't really see much happening on the upside. So that's the reason I'm saying that it's better to sell into it. Of course, a better thing would be to stay away from it for a while, let it take a proper direction. Because week on week, we're finding it either dipping or again recovering a bit, and it's still sideways and choppy and quite volatile also at that. So I think staying away or doing very short trades wherein you're very sure of grabbing those 300, 400 points, then it's worthwhile. Otherwise, I think you're better off just being on the short side.
What's your sense, especially coming in for the silver prices? More volatile of the two, but we are up nearly 800 rupees. We've come back all the way from sub 42,000 rupees. What's your sense on the very near term?
Yeah, I just saw that on the screen just now when you were mentioning that it's actually up by about 800 points today. Silver has been bleeding. The point is that it has slowly been coming down, so it's not really giving you much of a, let's say, an intraday trade kind of opportunity. But if you held on to a short trade, held on to being short on it from 45,000, yes, you would be in the money as far as the trade goes. On the other hand, if now you want to enter, I still think that at 43,000, it's a good time to sell into it. Maybe you can keep a tight stop at about 43,500 or so. If you look at silver versus gold over the last couple of weeks, silver has been declining steadily, so it's a safer place to actually be in.
Fair point. Let's also talk about the energy space, and what's your sense on that, Shrikant? Because this week really seems to have seen some gains vis-a-vis what we saw in the past 5 weeks now. The fundamentals also seem to be stabilizing now. How would you want to trade this one?
I don't know, Manisha. As far as crude is concerned, I think quite a few times on the show I was looking at two numbers. One is the 6,350 on the upside and 5,850 on the downside. And I think I mentioned earlier also that the break of about 5,850 would actually get it some momentum on the downside, and that's exactly what's happened now. So at this point I would still be short, and I still think that you may see 5,550 on the downside. And unless it now crosses over the 5,900 levels, I would still be on the short side. The same goes with even I had a look at the Brent and the other energy space. Most of them are down or sideways to down, so there's nothing much in it as far as buying into it is concerned. So I would remain short on the energy space.
To the base metal sector, and most of them are closing the month of August this week as well on the positive. How would you look at trading them? Because the fundamentals have turned positive, the inventories have been declining, the US data is good at also. Do you think nickel, zinc, copper still catch your eye as we step into September?
There are three of them actually. If you look at the base metal, it's either copper, aluminum, or it is nickel. Nickel is sideways. It's stuck in that 1,100 and something, and it's just not doing anything out there. Aluminum is looking good. It's in fact, I think we were talking about buying it at declines when it was around 117 or so. I think it's somewhere around 126 at this point, and it still looks good. It looks like there is some more headroom left, so you should see some appreciation there as well. In fact, it looks the best amongst the base metals on the buy side. Copper, I still would sell into it. I mean, whatever run-up you have seen now is more of a correction. And looking at the next contract, I still think around 435 or something I would look at selling into it. So copper would actually be a sell. Nickel I would just hang out and wait to see if it takes a direction. And aluminum I would buy into it.
Let's talk about the agro commodities now. Let's also get on board Praveen Dongre, who's chairman of the India Pulses and Grain Association, and he joins us on the show. Mr. Dongre, hi, welcome to the show. What's your view, first of all, on the pulses space? How are you looking at the Indian and global crop scenario?
Well, I think the global markets now will get alienated from the Indian markets as far as the grains are concerned, because India has an MSP system as far as wheat and to some extent corn is concerned. So wheat prices will do their own as far as India is concerned. Corn is seeing lower levels in India. You can see that corn prices in India have gone down, and that is in sympathy with what's happening in the international markets. International corn prices are lower and going south. So that is clearly seen in the effects in India.
Well, the monsoons have been good this time to us. We started on a lower note, but then the progress has been good. How much of that impact do you see coming in for the acreage?
Well, a lot depends on the monsoon. I mean, if we see that the monsoons do not come back in September, we'll see the prices of pulses certainly going up. And we are seeing that Tuar, Urad, Moong are trading at higher levels and much above their average prices. So we will see an upward move in these prices.
As all sectors have had, Mr. Dongre, the pulses sector also had a lot of expectations from the new government. With whatever reforms or the budget has come your way, what's your sense? What impact has had the pulses sector or agriculture as a whole has seen from all of that?
Okay, pulses has its own issues. It's cultivated on marginal land. It's not cultivated on irrigated land. The average farm size is very low, and hence the yields are low. And the challenge is improving yields and getting a better return to the farmer. So it's very clear that the current government has realized that the problem is yields, and any increase in yields will certainly get a better return to the farmers. And they should, I think, also come to terms with the fact that the farmer does need an average a return which is better than his cost of sowing. All costs have gone up, farm inputs have gone up. Cost of labor has gone substantially higher than in the past. So as long as the farmer gets money gets a profit over what he plants, only then will he be able to plant. Otherwise, you'll see land going fallow or going into other more remunerative areas. So as far as pulses is concerned, I think the government does realize it, but I think they should realize that higher returns to farmers are going to increase the acreage or yields to the farmers. And of course, there are various other areas where the government could look into, is to increase the availability of irrigation to farmers, to increase the availability of technology as far as farms are concerned to farmers, to better seed varieties, and of course whatever the banking sector can do at the farm level. So they are seeing it for sure, and we are waiting for concrete steps to happen.
Well, absolutely. As banking, irrigation sector, better seeds and fertilizers, and of course financing have been lots of issues that the government is expected of. Shrikant, what is your sense on pulses prices? Because we started the year on a very low note. The prices were even below MSP at one point in time. There is a rebound right now, but do you see prices sustaining? Would you buy at these current levels?
Not really, Manisha. I mean, if I have to take a cue from, see, most of the pulses are not there on the futures market. And if you look at maybe Chana, then you're looking at it. Yes, there is a way of looking at Chana saying that may have bottomed out at the 2,800, 2,850 levels. But it is hanging in there and it's not showing any signs of going up as well. So I, for one, would actually just wait. And I think that the prices which sold off, I think in the last 6 months to 8 months, or even for that matter, after the season, I think after Feb or so, has remained low. So at this point of time, it's not really reflecting. I don't really know about the spot markets as far as Urad and the rest of the other pulses are concerned. But this is how I would look at, Chana, because I would just say that since it is languishing around the 28,000 levels, 2800 levels, it's not really trending upwards as yet.
Mr. Dongre, most of the agro commodities have seen some pressure since the monsoon progressed well. We are at August end and the monsoon has been kind. How much of that impact do you see on crops, and would you see that impact in pulses prices going forward as well?
Well, the monsoons, were good during the month of July, but I think in August they didn't perform too well. Overall, monsoons have a sure lag of about 18 to 20%. Which is cause of concern, and large parts of Maharashtra, like entire Marathwada, Vidarbha, large parts of Telangana, eastern and western UP, parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat have got deficient rainfall, and the situation doesn't look good unless we see a restart of this rainfall, at least by mid-September. Otherwise, we will see a severe effect on the crops which have been in the ground now.
Sure. Mr. Dongre, also, what's your sense on the prices in the futures market? Also, since pulses are traded in the spot markets, Chana is traded in the derivatives market as well. There is this new initiative about forward markets. Some agro commodities have been introduced into that one. Pulses still awaits its turn, but how strong a field do you see that for Chana?
Well, pulses is an important crop, and it is an important part of the nutritional diet of this country, and I think the opportunity to hedge this commodity is extremely important, both throughout the supply chain, be it the farmers, the producers,